Hello guys, it's me, Cyan, advocate from Team Taidum. Today, I'm going to show you how you can make your very own custom Taidum. You may have seen them around at the meets, people having non-public Taidums that you cannot clone. You can indeed make your own Taidum. That's why I'm going to show you today in this video tutorial. First of all, there are some things we do need to have set up before we can even get started with this. So first of all, you have to own the Taidum avatar by Irix. This will be the first thing in the description, this link, irix.gumroad.com, and this is the Taidum. It's at a minimum, it costs $15. Yeah, you just click this, type in the amount you want to pay, it has to be at least $15, add to cart, and then go through this payment process and just check out. After you do this, you'll be sent an email like this on screen. I'll overlay it. You'll see a view content button. If you click that view content button, it'll take you to this. And this is where you can find the Taidum you just purchased. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna want this file right here. VRC_IRIX Taidum 3.0. This is the latest version of the Taidum. This is just gonna be the one we're focusing on. We're not messing with any of this other stuff. What you're first gonna want to do, go ahead and let's get this downloaded. And that's done downloading. If you haven't already, you need the creator companion from VRChat. You will need to log into your VRChat account. Go to vrchat.com/home/download. Again, all of this is gonna be linked in the description. Yeah, just download this. Run the installer, it'll set up the Unity version you need and everything through this automatically. Assuming you got this and you just downloaded this zip file, we're good to go. First, start off, let's open our downloads folder and go ahead and extract this. You can either extract all, but I prefer to use 7-zip. And there, we get this folder. Open up this, we get a Unity package, and we're gonna want that. So let's just keep this here. Then we want to open the VRChat Creator Companion. You can hear this is going to be completely blank for you. We want to create a new project. We want to do avatars 2022, not this one. We want the 2022 version. That's the latest version. And you can title this anything you want. I'm just going to call it Taidum Tutorial, but you can name this anything you want. It looks good, so we can just create the project. This may take a moment. And there. Now that it's created, you'll see a list of additional packages you can add to your project that can add tools and features. However, we don't need these right now. This will be covered in another video. We're just doing a standard Taidum. So let's open this project. Now we have our new Unity project opened. With this open, we can go ahead and go here. And we can install our Taidum package. Just to install it, you can either double click or drag it in. After you drag it in, you'll get this. This is a list of all the files that will be imported into your project. This all looks good. And click import. Now with that imported, you'll notice a new folder in here in the bottom under assets. Double click that and you'll see this blue box. Now it'll load in. This directory contains multiple folders that have all the files that are needed for your avatar to function. Right now, we only care about the prefab, which is this right here, texture folder, and the materials folder. Want to drag this in. You need to drag this into the scene, but I like to drag it into the hierarchy right here on the left, because it automatically just puts it in the center of the scene. Now we got our Taidum imported. You can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and hold down right click and move to readjust the camera. Use WASD to move it around. You can see our Taidum here. Now, we probably don't want a default looking Taidum. You know, we might want to change it up a little bit. And there are two simple ways we can do that. First of all, the most obvious one is changing the default texture. Probably don't want the default texture. This is it right here. I have another texture. We'll have tutorial under either related videos in the description, or if you click the eye up there, you'll see a video on covering how to texture and multiple ways you can do that. You can either do this in GIMP or Photoshop, Or if you want to do something more advanced and have more freedom, you can use Substance Painter. Krita is also a good option, but do note that Photoshop and Substance Painter are paid programs. Here we got texture blue.png. This is my Taidum texture. Put this in your texture directory. Go back and then go into the materials folder right here. Select, let's just start with the spec material on that. Let's go over here to the right panel. You'll see main texture and a little tiny circle here. Click on the circle. And then you'll see the texture you just imported somewhere in here. This is in alphabetical order. For me, I named the first half of it as texture, just like the old one, so it shows up right here. If you can't find it, you can use the search bar up here. So let's just select our new texture here. You can double click it. Now that we got that selected, go to software, do the same thing. Then emit eyes. However, with emit eyes, your eyes do emit. And we want to make sure that we have this selected to the texture we just made, or the colors will not look correct. When it's dark, your eyes will glow the colors of the original texture, which we do not want. So just click the tiny circle next to, it's in this drop down menu right here, your emission circle, the new texture, and there. And you have textured your Taidum now. However, there is one more way we can customize this that isn't too complicated. Go over here on the right under hierarchy, and you'll see your Taidum. If you expand the Taidum, go under body, then go over here to the right, go under blend shapes, you can customize any of these. However, these are for your emotions and your lip sync, also known as your V-signs. You don't really want to mess with these. Eye tracking, you don't want to mess with that. Face tracking, you also don't want to mess with that. However, once we get to face morph, this is where you can start customizing your Taidum more. I'm not going to do anything too crazy for this video because there's quite a few customization sliders. But let's say we want a different head shape. We can customize that, or we can use these together. If you don't like it, you can just Control Z it or slide it all the way back. We can also remove stuff. Maybe you don't want the ears, but I think we want the ears. Maybe move them down. Maybe we want... A lot of you are probably gonna want maybe a fluffier tail. Like that. However, by default, this does have the fin, which is shiny. If you want to get rid of the shininess on the fin after you change it to the fluff, go to your materials, and you take the soft fur material here, drag that on there, and boom. It's no longer like that. However, we're gonna just keep this as the normal tail that's all shiny. So yeah, once you customize this to your liking, you can go ahead and upload the PC version first. So if you want to do that, go up here to the top left of your screen. You'll see these little menus. Go under VRChat SDK. And then go to Show Control Panel. You can take this control panel and you can drag it and dock it next to the inspector window. And now you just gotta sign in to your VRChat account. You cannot use a Steam account with this. You need to migrate your Steam account to VRChat. If you don't know how to do it, there's some documentation, there's video tutorials online on how to do that. But it's pretty easy. Just look that up, it'll show you how to do it. So let me just log it in. You can log in by either typing your username or your email, and then you have to grab your password. Okay, now that I got my password, I can enter that, sign in, and it's gonna ask me for a verification code. Let me go ahead and accept that. 2-factor is the default on VRChat now, so you will also probably get a code. So just go to your email, enter that, and boom. Now I'm in, and I can prepare my content. So make sure it should say IRIX Taidum 3 right now. If there's another version, it might say IRIX Taidum 4, I don't know. But it'll say that. Set your name. Just call this Blue Taidum. But you can name this anything that abides by VRChat's terms of service. You can also add your content warnings if you have any of those. Description, you can put anything made for tutorial exclamation point. As long as it, again, abides by the terms of service. Now, if we want, we can either capture in scene or select an image we have saved locally on our computer. If you want to capture in scene, it'll by default just select, I think this is just your viewport. So like you can do it like this, or you can use a custom camera, which I believe is this. So if you want to use like a custom camera to get a better control over it, you can just drag the main camera over in here and it'll pop it into this view. Then you can select it, move it. The rotate button is here. Rotate that. Okay, might need to back that up a bit. You can do it like that. I would probably just use this one because it's easier. But yeah. You can also fill the background. You can select any color you want. Do that. You can use post-processing. I haven't messed with that though. You can do that or select a custom image. Why don't we give it bread? So I'm just gonna, for example, use this as my custom image. Also, you'll see here, we can set the visibility, private and public. So private, that means that only you can use this avatar. No one else can. No one can clone it from you or anything. So set this if only you're gonna use it. However, if you want anyone else to use it, you gotta set it to public. But for this example, it'll just be a private avatar. Now, we're looking good. However, we have one issue. If you do have an issue, you can just click the auto fix button and it'll just automatically fix it for you. Do make sure you address the red pop-ups before you continue with the upload, as some of these will prevent you from uploading your avatar, as they could be an indicator that there might be something wrong with your avatar. The yellow ones are not as important. In fact, the Taidum comes with some of them out of the box, so don't worry too much of those. Just make sure you take care of the red ones as best you can before you upload the avatar. For our first avatar, we're going to build it to the PC platform, which you should always do this first or you'll have some issues. Yeah, this looks good. You must accept the terms of service to upload content to VRChat, and you tick the box, and it gives you the option to build and publish. So just click build and publish. You can just save it in this directory, it's fine. So I'll just call this Taidum tutorial and save. And then after you save it, it's gonna start uploading your avatar. So now that PC or Windows version of your avatar is uploaded, you can now start working on the Quest version. Let's go ahead, switch this over. Just untick the Windows button, tick the Android button, collapse the menu, confirm. Now we are in Android build mode. So if we expand this menu, you'll notice we're using unsupported shaders. We had to switch to mobile shaders. You can either change these by clicking on them and clicking the drop-down menu. However, I don't recommend that. What I recommend is right-click in this little box down here, just a blank area. Make sure you're in your materials directory. You want to go to create. Up here, there's folder. To create a new folder. You can just call this whatever. I'm going to call mine Quest Mats. And then we want to select these three. You can do this by holding down Shift and clicking them. Then you want to do Control C on your keyboard. Then double click this. This takes you into the Quest Mats folder. And then Control V. And you just duplicated your materials here. So now that you got these duplicated, you want to change these to the Quest version materials. First, let's change the emit eyes. We can switch that. Go to this drop-down menu in the top right. Click on VRChat. Click on mobile. Standard light. Then with standard light, we can go to emission. Tick that box. It already has our texture selected for the emission. So then let's do software. So once you have software selected, go down to the drop menu in the top right. Go to VRChat, go to mobile, and we want to use the Toon Lint shader. Then we want to select the spec shader. Go up here, top right, like this, go to VRChat, mobile. For this one, we want to use the standard light shader. The standard light shader, we can make this more reflective. So under standard light, we can keep these the same. However, we want to change the smoothness value. Set this to around like 0.5, but you can fine tune this later if that's not enough like shininess on these different, on the nails and nose, if that's not enough for you. So now that we got this configured the way we want it, we can now take this, and personally, you don't have to do this, but for convenience, I like to duplicate this by right-clicking it, duplicate. We can call this one West. So let's go back up to the first one. We go over here to the right under Inspector and untick this box, and that will hide that one. We go back to over here to the left and take hierarchy. Now we got the quest version, and now we want to apply these new materials. So if you just drag these materials where they're supposed to go, make sure you do drag them in the appropriate locations. We can take emit eyes goes into the eyes. Soft fur goes onto the fur. And then speck is where it's all shiny and stuff. You can drag this onto the nails. And also make sure you put the speck shader on the tail fin too. Don't forget this, or you won't be able to upload. So we put that there. This is what we got for the quest shaders. Click on the SDK tab, and now we can upload the quest version, or Android, or whatever mobile platform, or standalone headset version to VRChat now. So again, just take the box and build and publish. And now your avatar uploaded to VRChat, and you have the PC version and Quest version loaded. So now you don't have to do this, but I highly recommend you just very quickly launch VRChat. Now that VRChat has loaded up, click the escape menu, click on avatars, go to my avatars, and if you go into, click on the uploaded button over here on the left, you'll see the icon of the Taidum you uploaded in the name. You click on this. There it is. And now you just click this check button in the bottom right. Now if you press escape again to close the menu, you are now the Taidum you have uploaded. And do whatever you want now, Taidum. So yeah. Hope that you are able to upload your first avatar. If you need help or have any problems setting up your Taidum, go to the Discord server at discord.gg/Taidum. In the help general chat, you can ask in there and you can get help there. The Taidum is a great avatar to get started on. It's very easy to texture, very easy to work with. So I highly recommend you buy it and make your own custom avatars on it. And maybe even show them off at one of the Taidum meets. So yeah, hope to see you in game. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and join the Discord server at discord.gg/Taidum. Bye.